Alrighty, here we are. This is our first live on YouTube. And so we're just getting it going. Alrighty, here we are. This is our first live on YouTube.
Do you maybe want to turn that down?
How do I do that? Oh, here we go. Okay. So let me mute that so that we don't hear the feedback. Okay. All right. So we are live. We are on YouTube. This is Rina and Tania Mack, and we will normally be here on Mondays. This will be replayed on Monday, but since we have commitments and can't be here on Monday, here we are now. Tania, do you want to introduce yourself and then I'll introduce myself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Tania Mack. I am a certified transformational health coach, and I help people who are struggling on the dieting roller coaster achieve food freedom by creating a healthy relationship with food and their body.
Awesome. We love that. My name is Rina Mora. I am a visionary life and business coach. I focus on business coaching. I work with small businesses, anywhere up to 6 employees, working on growth and sustainability, focusing on business foundation, making sure you know how to run your business, not how you run, how your business runs, versus how you run your business.
How your business runs you.
Yeah. We don't want your business running you. You want to run your business, and creating systems for more efficiency and sustainability so you can create that generational wealth and have the business and life of your dreams. So we are here to shoot the shit, guys.
Let's shoot it. What are we shooting today?
Well, as I was sharing with you, I just got off of my first day of an Extraordinary You conference with Lisa Nichols. And one of the most powerful things that I took away today, and it was just something that Danita said, it was, your future will pay for your past until you have the courage to go back to your past and heal it. And that was just one of those like, oh, kick into tummy moments where you're just like, damn. And it was in conjunction with like trauma, speaking about healing our past traumas. And, we are who we are from what we've lived, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, oh my gosh, that one resonates so much because I really went through it for a little while. And what happens is that when we don't go to our past and heal the trauma or the issues, it keeps repeating itself and showing up in places. So every time I tried to move forward or do something in my business, for example, anything that had to do with growth, mostly in my business, I would say, not so much in health and wellness, I would get so stuck because those words that I heard would keep repeating in my head and it would keep me stuck. And I was so stuck for so long until I went back and like forgave the people, healed the hurt, and finally moved on from it.
And that's a big job, right? Like, and not only
it was a process, by the way.
It's
It's not let me just go forgive everybody today and I'm solid.
Or let me just journal about this real quick and see what happens.
No, that shit came up like over and over again. I had to like chip away at that for a little bit.
And it goes in alignment with that saying, that which we resist persists. Mm-hmm. And when you don't heal from the past and you carry it with you, like, ladies, even gentlemen, think about any past hurts in relationships and how you carry that past hurt into the new relationship, or when we hold our new partner accountable for things that other people did in our lives. It's so unfair when people hold something else against you that you had nothing to do with, but it's about that trauma. And when we don't look at how it affects us and how to heal from it, we carry that pain. It's just a matter of one thing happening to trigger that past trauma that takes us right back to that little kid inside of us that is dealing with that trauma. Another thing that was said was there's a certain type of growth that can only happen after trauma. So there's growth that happens in the process of the healing of those traumas. And it is a process. I'm still in that process as I feel like I'm also in the discovery mode of traumas. Like just things are just
Right.
starting to come up as life happens, as different big life events start happening in my life, how these old traumas are surfacing to show me like where my little girl is still sad and traumatized and isn't healing. It is a big process. And not only forgiving the people in your past that participated in the drama, but forgiving yourself for being the traumatized little version of yourself.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So, you just had me thinking back to the times I was so mean to myself and, was stuck in a really negative thought pattern. And through all the work I did, becoming a coach, you can only take your clients as deep as you're willing to go. So I was in the trenches for a little while. But yeah, those times where I was really mean to myself. And I remember my coaching buddy said to me, "Whose voice is that?" And I was like,
What you mean?
"Oh, yeah, what do you mean?" And then I was like, she's like, "That's not your voice. You didn't say that to yourself. That's not something you would say to yourself." And I was like, whoa, other people's voices had become my voice. So I had internalized all of that stuff and I was an asshole to myself for so long.
I love that you bring that up. Like, whose voice is that? That's not my voice because it's so important. We don't realize, I think we've talked about this before when we were on Instagram, um, how we don't pay attention to our self-talk. Our
Yes.
self-talk becomes it's just a habitual conversation that we have with ourselves that we don't realize how mean we are to ourselves, how
Mhm.
we pick up the things that we've been told, how you know you'll say like, oh, I'm just being so silly, or I'm being so stupid for that. And that really isn't our belief. It's what we've been told, and we've adopted it as our belief, our rhetoric, our self-talk. So when you have, and this is why it's important to work with other people. This isn't why it's important to have an accountability partner, because had your friend, your person, your coach, whatever, whoever that was, not heard you say that, and you just kept having that conversation with yourself, you wouldn't have been held accountable for that statement
Right.
and for what comes after, what the actions are that come along with that belief.
Yeah. And I think so much of it is kind of done mindlessly as well because we're so on autopilot, right? And it becomes a habit. And, I see that a lot in my coaching practice, a lot with my clients, the negative self-talk. And that's one thing that we really work on because coming from the background of being a binge eater myself and struggling with like disordered eating and weight issues, oh my gosh, I was so mean to myself. And when we're going through that journey, it's like you get so used to saying nasty things to yourself that it just becomes like automatic, right? So it takes time and a lot of effort to really like catch that in the beginning and then reframe those words. But I work on that a lot with my clients when it comes to progress, right? So if they're not making progress fast enough in their opinion,
Right.
not getting down on themselves because that easily turns into a whole negative self-talk situation, right? I don't know why I can't do this, and I don't understand why I'm not getting results, and da da da. And I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that, and all those words, just come back again. And it's just so important. And sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. We don't even realize that we're being so mean to ourselves because that's how often we do it. So it's
It just seems
really
normal,
important.
right? It becomes like normal
Yeah.
conversation with yourself, which is
I mean, honestly, when I first started being nice to myself, it was really strange. I'm not even going to lie. Like when I would look in the mirror and go, oh, what do I actually like about myself? So instead of, oh my gosh, my butt's too big or like, whatever it is, it's like, what do I like about myself? And then just really shifting it. And it feels good. Well, it feels strange in the beginning, but it feels good to be nice to yourself, right? You wouldn't say half of those things to anybody else. Maybe some of them. Definitely not all of them.
and how about like You know, when I was practicing Reiki, in my massage therapy days, I would often have my clients after their session get up and stand in front of the mirror and practice telling themselves that they love themselves.
Mm.
And at first, just getting those three words out just one time would break them,
Oh
because
yeah.
when you're not used to loving yourself and telling yourself, validating, I am lovable, I am magnificent, I'm beautiful on the inside, the outside, whatever it looks like, you know, but just to tell yourself that I am perfect in my imperfections, and then work towards actually believing it.
Right.
Just the first step of being able to say it is
It's
challenging.
wild. Yeah, it's so challenging. Like mirror work is tough. Like looking
Oh,
yourself in
it's
the eyes and
so
saying, I love you.
hard.
It's like, but you know, I just think, how did we get here? How did we get to a point where we're so mean to ourselves, where our self-talk is so negative? You know, I swear, I literally wanted to be somebody else. And, you know, acceptance is huge in my practice, right? We talk about acceptance a lot, but I literally wanted blonde hair. I wanted blue eyes, and I wanted to look like Kate Moss.
Oh, girl,
Okay. And
that's
I
because we're
couldn't
little
be
brown
more
girls.
opposite than any of that. Okay. Literally, if I go blonde, I look like a lemon, thanks to my skin tone. I am a curvy ethnic girl who could never look like Kate Moss, even if I
Me
tried.
neither,
I would
girl.
have
Me
to
neither.
shave my bones off. And I literally went through my like late teens, early 20s, wishing myself to be this person who is completely different to who I am. And oh my gosh, like I think back now and I'm like, girlfriend, like now I love my brown hair. I love my figure. I love like so many things about myself. And I just feel like how sad that you wanted to be a completely different person back then.
Well, it's because it's how we're programmed. And, you know, it's, so I'm first generation American, and both of my parents are very Mexican. They're, you know, but we were I was born in Torrance, California, raised in Redondo Beach and in Mission Viejo. You couldn't get any blonder, blue-eyed surfboard body than that, right? I mean, I guess you can. There's a big world out there. But in this little brown girl's eyes, I was like, I'm never going to measure up. I had my daughter, I had my daughter my senior year. Just not something I typically share, but I had my daughter my senior year. So there's a lot of change that happens in your body at 17 and 18 years old, 20 years old already. But when you have a baby, everything changes. So while I was raising my daughter and gaining weight and had baby weight on me that I was trying to get off, all of my friends were blonde, blue-eyed, green-eyed, surfer girls, volleyball players, soccer players, tight-toned bodies. And here I was dealing with, I have to get baby weight off. And I'm already a little round brown girl. It was, it was very easy for me to go into an eating disorder, which I did, which I've shared with you. I had this whole body dysmorphia of not even being able to be in the space of appreciating the fact that I just made a human. And that I had the power to create another being. I was so busy beating myself up because my body wasn't doing what everybody else's body was doing. And
Right.
the mental breakdown that happens with that, and the rebuild that happens with that by doing the work. I mean, I've shared with you, I've been in the work since my early 20s. I am very far from my 20s now. And it's still a journey, and still going back and healing the past. Like really like having to
Yeah.
grab my little Rina by the hand and be like, yo, it's okay. You are perfect. I know you don't think so. Nobody's told you that. How long did it take for me to find out that I was perfect in my imperfections? I was well into my adulthood. And and still trying to believe
Oh,
that, and every day it's it's effort, it's work to be in the work of healing the past and not creating more trauma as you're going through it, with as life happens.
Mm. So I'm curious. Tell me a little bit more about how that went down in your conference. So what things like kind of came up for you, if you want to share?
This conference is so chock full of stuff. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see me posting stuff in my stories. But today was all about being extraordinary, what it takes, and what the difference between self-esteem and self-confidence is. And a lot of us think we have low self-esteem and versus low self-confidence, or that we confuse the two. We cross the lines of what self-esteem and self-confidence are. We put them together when they're two completely different things. He was the other instructor. Self-esteem is how we view ourselves, and self-confidence is how we view what we do. And if we could have more, just hold more power in what we're doing, like really find, where's my notes? I got the notes. Building success not to avoid failure, really giving yourself permission to put yourself, I want to find the note because it was so powerful. Self-confidence is how you feel about your skills. Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. Most people are high in confidence and low in self-esteem. So chasing the skills that avoid failure so that you feel more confident and have more esteem about yourself. When we find our self-esteem in accomplishing things and celebrating our wins, right? We avoid failure to feel more confident.
Right.
So it was just being rooted in stability, being rooted in who you are to have that confidence. Being able to find the comfort in the stillness, in being rooted in your truth. And I actually did a post about stillness not too long ago because there's so much magic. We talk about the power of the pause, that just being rooted in who you are and what you want and what you're thinking. And something else he said which was Sean, the other coach, was your current capacity for learning comes from looking into the future. So if you are looking into the future with fear of failure, the capacity to continue to learn is going to be limited, because you're going to be looking to learn things that you understand, that you won't fail at, that you will succeed at. But what happens is we forget that we fail forward. When you fail,
I was just about to say, failure is the best learning experience. That's
right, because it opens up opportunities. It opens up an opportunity for you to see where there is room for growth.
Right.
So it's about falling forward. So it's not failure. It's about being open to learn what you don't know, because we don't know what we don't know. And if we're afraid to fall, we'll never get on the bike. We'll never take that step towards the greatness that we desire.
We'll never put those roller skates on. Because I tell you, the first minute I put them on, I was like, I had this vision of me like being this amazing skater, and I put them on, I stood up and I landed right on my ass.
Or you do the whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it didn't even take that long. I put like my foot down and I just went,
oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But honestly, I've had my fair share of newbie wipeouts, but I think, that translates over to everything. You're going to wipe out doing certain things when you're a newbie, trying to navigate the big wide world of, business, health and wellness, just trying to better yourself. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but it's all going to be okay.
Yeah. Another takeaway was your get back up muscle is more important than your get it done muscle.
That's where my big butt came in handy, by the way, because that was a get back up muscle, and it got me up really, really fast. And it also helped me bounce and not hurt myself. So, hey, just saying, if you hated having a big butt when you were growing up, it comes in really handy.
A lot of people like big butts and they cannot lie.
I know. Back then it wasn't a thing. Just saying. Back then it was like hipster jeans that, you know, you couldn't have a butt to fit in, otherwise you would show your crack.
Right. I mean, I get it.
I grew up with the hipster jeans. No,
when I was growing up, it also wasn't popular to have big lips. I used to get teased. I used to be called.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and I'm like, and all you people that have the audacity to call me Mamba lips. How many of you have injections now?
Yeah.
And to that point, it's about learning to love your uniqueness, right? Yeah. That again, that past, healing your past. There's trauma, even though trauma is traumatic and it can be ugly and it can be scary, there is beauty to be found in every moment. You know, there's a beautiful moment that comes out of being able to heal your trauma and to realize what you learned from the struggle of the trauma and what you gain from the healing of the trauma.
Amen. Yes. I love that. I love that a lot. It's so true. I mean, I don't know. I have such a level of peace now in my 40s that I just did not have in my 20s. Definitely not in my 20s. Definitely not in my 20s. My 30s were like, that's when I was like starting to, you know, all the stuff was coming up. But in my 40s, I guess that's why they say like, you know, 50s and 60s are like when you just really live life, right? You stop caring totally about what other people think, and, you know, you've just been through it. So you know what's up and you just start enjoying life.
Yeah, like I feel like in your 30s, you start getting comfortable with saying no and not having to explain it. Like no is an answer. No is a complete sentence. No, thank you. Don't want to, can't do it. Don't feel like it. Why? Because I said no. Why? Because I don't like take it. I don't need to explain it. Like I think as you get older, like in my 40s, I'm like, I don't need to explain that. In my 30s, I may have been a little bit more inclined to give you a little more information. Right. But as I get older, I'm like, it's not even.
Yeah, in my 40s, I'm like, just no, thank you.
No thanks. Can't do it right now.
No excuses, no elaborations, not necessary.
And how about like seriously, like let's talk about that. Like how powerful is it to be able to say no, and when somebody pries to just say, well, that's just all I'm giving you. Why is it important for you to know that? What does it matter? Like what kind of difference is it going to make in your life if I decide to tell you why no? Like what if it's because I don't like the company you keep? Why would I hurt your feelings? Why, you know, sometimes it's okay not to tell the whole truth. My light just died on me. But, you know, like taking that comfort, and I think that comes with age. And now I'm sunburned. I think it comes with age. It comes with that security of really, as we start to give ourselves permission to know ourselves and appreciate who we are and appreciate what we want, what we don't want, it's important to stand up for that and just stand in your truth.
Well, it wouldn't be us if there wasn't any technical difficulties.
Yes. I mean, it's not even freaking Monday. You know, I have another one over here, but I didn't set it up.
Fine. No, you look fine without the light. You're all good.
Again, champions adjust. So screw the light. I'll be half shaded.
It is Friday, Sunday, after all.
It is Friday. It's a fun day. It's the end of the week, but there's there's a lot to be learned from having the courage to look at where you came from.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so that was kind of an interesting wrap up to the week, and it's been really great. Like I have 2 more days of this. I cannot wait till we get back on here. I know Monday will just be the replay, but there's a lot to be learned by giving yourself permission to do the work.
Yes.
And, right? It's about doing the work and about how.
Well, the work always sucks, which is why none of us ever want to do it. But when you do it, it's amazing.
It is amazing. You know, it's hello. We're just going to leave that like that. But, you know, just giving yourself the permission to do the work, but also don't be afraid of the outcome. You
Right.
know, being afraid to look back at where your scars are, where your pain is. Yeah, it's painful. And the thing is that if we go underground, like there's no there's no growth. If you decide to go inward and hide and not look at it, you have told yourself that all those things that you desired, that you wanted, that you were hoping to create, just you really don't want them anymore. It's about, it takes courage to move forward. It takes courage to do the work and to,
Mhm.
it takes courage to go backwards and to really take a look at the pain, because it was painful then. It hurt then. And then you carried that pain and you let all the other pains that happen along the way build on those. So it is like peeling the onion. And the onion's a good analogy because how often do we cry when we touch that stupid onion? And with each layer, the aroma, the gases get stronger and it gets deeper and it gets more palpable. I can't say that word. Um, but I tried. But it becomes this like it's a stronger thing. But as you heal from that, as you give yourself the permission to go deep, to peel the next layer, to really look at it, to feel it for that moment and understand what that pain is, make the correlation of where that pain is coming from. So when it happens again in your life in present day, you can tell yourself, like, that's not my past. That's not the same. It's different. It might feel the same, but it is different. And remember that you were courageous enough to go back and look at that and not carry it with you. You don't own it. You guys, how about this? Think about this. We live in our past sometimes when it's painful. We live in our past when there are things that happen in our past that we just really cherish. But your past doesn't define you. Your past isn't who you are today. How about your past is doesn't exist anymore. It's not there. It only lives because you give it life. So look at it, take away the blessing, bless the mess, let go of what doesn't serve you anymore, where the hurt is, and let it go because it's not happening today. It's not happening right now. You don't have to go back. It's not even there. If you tried to go back, that time
Mhm.
doesn't exist. You can't get back
Yeah.
there. Just like living in the future, you it hasn't happened. You were creating stories about something that may or may not come to fruition. I think that's why we're always told to live in this moment and enjoy this moment right now. So being able to go back to your past and heal those traumas, having the courage to look at it, to let it go, so that you can live in your truth, in the authentic moment that's happening right now for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, and on that note, I just wanted to say I think I used my past as an excuse to not move forward when I didn't want to.
That's
Ah,
how, I mean, listen, how many of us have done that? How many of
yeah.
us have lived in the like, but I'm gonna get hurt again. I wasn't good at that. I just,
Or you just play out everything they said so that they can be right. Hmm, I used to do that too.
ooh, so that they can be right. That's big. Not so that I can be right, not so that I can make my argument and come out of it, but so they can be right. That's big time.
Yeah.
So what has like talk about that? I want to hear a little bit more about how that's held you back.
Well, I think again, it was just the voices of others, other people's opinions on how I was raised,
Oh,
what I was going to do, what my future looked like, all that kind of stuff. And so I took those words on, like I was really upset about them. They were hurtful. And I did take them on and hold on to them throughout my life. And then, every time I would try to grow in my business, or somewhere else, like those words would come up. And I feel like I would just almost self-sabotage, right? Because of those words that would keep popping up. And so when I would say them, that's when my coaching buddy was like, whose voice is that? That's not your voice. And so I just kept holding on to that. And then when you hold on to something and then you start using those words, well, whatever you say, your words are powerful, right? So you're going to act on those words. And those actions weren't aligned with where I wanted to be. So I kept self-sabotaging myself and I kept stalling all of the greatness that I wanted to achieve.
Wow. That's big. Yeah. I can see, like, somebody once said, and I like this because it reminds me of when I start to buy other people's opinions. You know, when people, so when I made the leap, when I decided to retire my massage practice, it became an identity of mine, being the massage therapist, the Reiki practitioner. Like it was my identity. And I had people ask me, like, how are you going to do that? Are you sure? Like you're the massage therapist, like you're the massage therapist that everybody loves and whatever, like, who are you going to be now? And that question kind of struck me as odd. I was like, what do you mean, who am I going to be? I am me. I am who I am. But, and then I went into I'm going to be a coach. I'm a real life coach. I'm going to help women stand in their power and speak their truth and live their most authentic lives. And I'm going to help business owners, seasoned or new, like create a solid business foundation and systems and growth and all that stuff. And then I was like, but I'm not what I do. I am who I am. And the danger of identifying and letting buying other people's opinions. So really
I love that you said I'm not what I do, because I would freak out, because I've changed careers like probably 3 times. And I was like, those words of certain people would come back to haunt me every time I stopped doing one thing and transitioned into another. And it was like, oh, and it almost became a bad thing. And so I was like, oh my God, did I fail at like what I was doing before and like just wanted to move on to something different? I was like, no, you didn't fail. Life just took you in a different direction.
You grew.
Exactly. And I grew. I didn't fail. It was the exact opposite, right? And I think some people just can't wrap their heads around, like, I've never been the type of, like, I couldn't handle school. The school vibe was not my jam. I felt like I was in prison. If I wasn't interested in something, it was so hard for me to focus. I had a really hard time doing the things that I was supposed to be doing, right? And I was always kind of like the black sheep in the family, and not always in a bad way. I was just different, right? And so I did everything differently. So I think people couldn't really understand that and didn't really get who I was. So I've always done things differently. Till this day, I do things differently. And I have no problem going from one career to another, depending on where my life takes me, what my interests are, because I have grown so much as a person. From my 20s, it's ridiculous, like ridiculous. And when I first started my health and wellness journey, like 16 years ago, I really went down that rabbit hole and almost became obsessed with how far we can take our health. And I realized, like, there's no destination, right? Like, you literally, your health can evolve in so many different ways, and there's no destination. You know, it first started with healing my relationship with food, then understanding food, then learning, you know, what people are putting in our food. Then that led to learning about fasting and detoxing and all of those kinds of things. And then that led to, I mean, just so many, it was like one thing after another. And I was like, wow, there is so much to this, right? But I mean, like, if you think about what I was doing before, I was an esthetician in Australia, and I love that job. I love the beauty industry. And then I moved here, and then I became a realtor. And so I actually had a bunch of fun, you know, selling homes and showing homes. So that was really cool. But then my passion for health and wellness really took over. And so it was like, man, this is something I got to do, because that's when I really felt my true purpose, right? I got to help people. I know so much about health and wellness because I like just like really dove in. Is that the word? Dove.
You're not diving right now, but I mean,
and learned so much about health and wellness that I was like, dude, I got to share this with people because people are just suffering unnecessarily. And I have all of this information that I can help them with. And so anyway, throughout all of those transitions, just taking it back to the whole negative self-talk thing, I felt bad about that. And I thought like people were judging me for how many times I've changed my career and that kind of stuff. And so when you said, who are you going to be now? That just reminded me of I've been somebody different, reinvented myself several times based on like where I'm at in life and where my growth is taking me.
Yeah, and I was thinking about when I first joined network marketing, because I like residual income. I like multiple streams of income. So I never knock it, but whenever I work with a network marketer that comes to me for coaching, which I love my network marketers, so coachable. It's always, they get so many no's from the people in their life that they expected to say yes, their closest people. And then Aunt June comes along and is like, well, I don't know about that. It's a pyramid scheme and people get arrested. And the thing I like to remind people, and something that somebody told me was, be careful whose opinion you buy. Before you start buying other people's opinions, take a look at their life. Do they have the life that you want? And if they don't, you might want to reconsider taking their advice, because what advice are they living by? If you want you get around the people that have what you want and you do what they do, right? And
dude, if you're in the ring fighting, then you take advice from the people who have been there, who are in the ring fighting with you, like not from the people who are sitting out of the ring, like judging your ass.
Like, either you're in it with me and you have something to share with me, or you are, and I want you all to hear this, they are putting their own insecurities on you. It is their fear, their limiting beliefs, their lack mentality, thinking that fearing, no, it's just because I care about you. It's in your best interest. It's for your best good, that you don't have it in you to actually show up and get it done. When people that I, come at me and knock down my new exciting idea of what I'm doing, I'm passionate about, and it gets knocked down, the first thing that comes to mind, and this didn't always used to be, this is after years and years of work, and my little girl getting really stubborn and being tired of being told what to do and what not to do, tell me I can't. Because I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tell you to just, I almost dropped enough on, just watch me. Just watch me. I'm not gonna tell you every step I'm doing. I'm gonna go hide. I'm gonna go be quiet. But when I come out, you better watch out, because I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. And getting to that place where you can take the negativity and not let it bring you down, but turn it into the fuel and the fire under your ass to get it done. Don't talk about it. Just go do it. And like Tania always says, just do something.
Anything.
That gets you emotionally.
A little baby step.
A baby step that just gets you one baby step away from your fear. One needle point move away from your fear. And, just to go back to like the whole trauma thing, is we all have trauma, but, that, like it was said, is sometimes greatness comes from trauma. Our greatest lessons come from our hardest times. When you are in your darkest of your dark, you're feeling the lowest of your lows. Guys, there's nowhere else to go but up. Like if I crumble and I fall, if I plan on doing anything else, the first thing I have to do in order to do it is get up. That's all you have to do. You just have to decide to get up and move the needle.
Amen.
All right. Well, I think we just I was like,
that's a good place to end.
So we will be here on, I don't know what the next Monday is. Monday's the first, the second. So
Monday is the second. It's my birthday.
Oh, that's right. It's your birthday. So we won't actually be live on Monday. This will be posted on our Instagram, or my Instagram, and Facebook on Monday. for those to see it for some motivation. But we will be back Monday the 9th at 10 a.m. live on YouTube. This is going to be our new thing. We're not going to announce our topics because you know what? We do so much better when we're off the cuff.
Well, who knows what's going to come up, really.
You never know. We might have a topic and go in a totally different direction. It's just
You might just talk about the Amazon guy who keeps showing up. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, whatever.
I don't know. We are just here to make you feel normal.
Basically.
Ring lights going off, wiping my nose, all the things. But we are here always to share our nuggets and our 2 cents, 10 cents soapbox moments.
Let's go with 10.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll be back. Everybody
All
have
right.
a great weekend. Have a great week. See you later.